Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Columbus Municipal School District Board regular meeting. Today is Monday, November 11th, 2024, and the time is 5 o'clock p.m. I want to thank each of you for joining us today, and I'd like to say Happy Veterans Day to all of our veterans and thank you for your service. We do have a quorum. We have with us today Mr. Robert Smith, Dr. Josie Shoemake, Mrs. Talisa Young, Reverend James Richardson, and myself, Dr. Cynthia Brown. We will have the invocation by Reverend Richardson, followed by the pledge.
Let us pray. Gracious God, our Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you now for this privilege, this opportunity. Thank you for another day. Thank you for life, health, strength. Thank you for family, friends, and even enemies. Lord, we praise you for what you have done, what you're doing, and you're about to do. Father, we pray now that as we embark upon this meeting that you will guide our mind, guide our tongue. Father, let our action be pleasing and pleasant in thy sight. Father, when we have concluded, we pray that you will watch over us, keep us in thy care. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Please stand for the pledge. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item 3, adoption of the agenda, policy BBB, policy BCBD. Is there a motion?
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Reverend Richardson. And I'd like to add to the agenda under the executive session, one item, and that would be superintendent for the incentive pay.
Yeah.
Okay, with the adjustment. All in favor? Was there any discussion? It's the
You just
discussion of the superintendent's incentive pay. Adoption of the agenda, motion from Mr. Smith. Right,
Yeah.
just added in executive session. Okay. All in favor?
Anyway.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, yes, okay. Thank you. Moving to item 4, Board of Education Policy BCBD. A is the consideration to approve minutes for October 2nd, 2024, and October 14th, 2024. October 2nd, Board Review Meeting, and 14th, regular meeting. Is there a motion?
So move.
We have a motion by Dr. Shoemake and a second by Reverend Richardson. Is there any questions? All in favor? Thank you. Trustee District Review. Trustee Travel Report. Did anybody have any? No, none. Discussion and consideration of capital improvement plan for the Columbus Municipal School District. Mr. Stephen Little.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Should have the capital improvement report, the athletics report, and the October report in front of you. At the athletic complex this past month, we did work on the lights at the football field. We still got some more work to do on them right now, but they are coming on and staying on. We worked on the sprinkler system on the football field also. We're waiting till soccer's over with. We've got a couple of sprinkler heads that are messed up, so they don't want us to dig the field up right now to fix those. So as soon as soccer's over with, we'll go in and put those new heads on there. We did have some minor things like paper towel holders, soap dispensers, tissue holders that we had to replace that were broken. Of course, you remember we did have the bonfire, so we set up for that and then cleaned up everything after that. And after every home ball game, we cleaned the bleachers up at the football field. Of course, we kept the grounds. Softball field, we kept having a problem with one of the lights, kept going off. We found out that was a disconnect on the pole, so we replaced that, and all the lights are staying on now, football, baseball, and softball. Any questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman. Whatever happened, Mr. Little, do you know, concerning the bleachers, we removed the bleachers, we purchased 2 new sections and was supposed to have purchased, since they were so small, we was told that there was gonna be 2 other sections. So whatever happened to the
Okay,
other
after
2
we,
sections?
okay, after we discussed that, I went and got the quotes. And when I talked to them about where we were gonna get the money from, I was told to hold off on that project till second semester.
Who was- Yeah,
Just because of all the cash that we have going out right now for the ESSER projects and for Hunt, we can't really purchase anything else for baseball until we do something else for softball to keep in regulation with Title IX. So I asked them to wait till the beginning of second semester when we're done with Hunt and the ESSER project, so we can keep our cash, keep a better hand on our cash.
so will that be time enough for baseball season?
Yes.
You could order them and get them here before baseball season.
I can get them ordered. I don't know about them getting here. I'd have to see what the,
Because, I mean,
what the hold up, what the,
it was my understanding that they were supposed to have been ordered back some time ago.
2 of them were, but.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the other 2.
Purchase more. We can't just keep purchasing stuff for baseball. We'll get into a Title IX issue because softball doesn't have the same standard. We're not doing the same standard for them,
Softball have a lot more than baseball.
not the bleacher section.
Well, and in other aspects, they do, because I've looked at it all. So my thing is that, as a board member, we was told one thing, and it was changed, and nobody told us anything. Looked like we
That's
could have
the
been
problem I
informed.
have.
Yeah, I don't remember really talking about it in a board meeting, but they asked me about it and asked if they could hold off until we get our projects completed this semester.
Well, maybe I'm the only board member up here that can recall that we was told that they was gonna be ordered.
No, because that's the same way with the chairs for the football complex. They were said, the report was that they had been ordered and were just waiting for arrival. And chairs for the football ain't here either. So nobody updated on the change. Would be nice if there's an update, if something changed
The chairs to the visitors room,
to the team room.
Yeah.
They still got the chairs from Fairview over there that they're using.
so what happened to the chair? Can someone tell us that? Is the athletic director here?
Their production, they're on their way. I talked to the guy, GSN, he did the diagram, now we're just waiting. Hopefully they'll get here soon, but we placed the order, we're just waiting.
So these chairs supposed to have been ordered prior to football, well, at the beginning of football season, is that not correct?
They're not ordered at the beginning of football season.
So when were they ordered then, Mr. Hare?
For the middle of the season.
The middle of the season?
Yeah, when we got, I had to find out where we get the money from now, that then once we got the quote, and then from there, it's just getting the production out, and we'll be getting here as soon as we can. But they weren't ordered at the beginning of the season.
But we were
Yeah,
told that they were ordered with some other stuff before the season started. We were told that they had been ordered.
I think what happened, there was a change in what the design of the chairs, because there were some initial chairs that were supposed to be ordered, I think in the spring, that was, but there was a change in what we wanted the chairs to look like. And so that's why,
The last time we visited, those chairs were discussed. That was at the beginning of the football season.
that's right,
Yeah.
that's why I asked if we could use, because we did have, because there was a change, I think, to some of the, I wasn't sure what happened to some of the things, and all that. So what I did was ask if we could use some of the ones here we didn't have that they were using at the time, if we could use those chairs, because they didn't have any football chairs at the time. So hopefully, they was switching. So that was, with the design, because there was a change in the design, that's when we placed them into the stadium.
So, so where are we concerning the mats in the, football, weight room?
Now, those are supposed to start, next week, because we're waiting for the bids in, but we did confirm with them, getting them started sometime in December, so make sure.
And with the chairs, it would have been nice, because nobody said anything about a design. When we talked about ordering chairs, nobody said that they was looking for a particular type of design, type of chair. We just were told, chairs been ordered, they'll be here. So it'd be nice from here on out if there is some changes, that there'll be some updates.
And, Ms. Holly, I want to correct something. It's not just baseball that I'm concerned about, or the board. I can just speak for myself. Just like we mentioned about the chairs, there are things that we've been told as a board that we was gonna get these, they're gonna be ordered, then there are changes made, and look like someone would inform the board. Yeah.
We'll
Well,
do,
you say you put a hold on it, so look like then someone would have told us then that it was a hold placed on it. Since you placed a hold on? Okay, well then if you placed a hold, then why didn't you or the superintendent then inform the board then?
that's, we'll take care of that moving forward. We'll make sure that you guys are informed anytime that we have to hold on something because of funding. I understand about the chairs and all the bleachers, because I was over there when we discussed that last year in the spring. So we'll make sure that you guys are informed about that. I can put that in my weekly updates and, to keep you guys informed on what's taking place. If there's a funding issue or something like that.
Yeah, we just need a timeline, because we've requested stuff since I've been on the board that several months have passed, ain't no follow-up, not just this, but it's not a follow-up on stuff. I guess if we gotta set deadlines for stuff to get answers, I guess that's what we need to do.
Okay, we'll start giving you a timeline on anything that we're gonna be doing. We'll give you a tentative timeline, and if that doesn't work, then we'll give you an update if there are gonna be some changes to the board.
We've asked for timeline. If you go back and check the minutes, we have asked for timeline.
Any more questions or concerns? Thank you, Mr. Little.
Good evening.
Item 3, discussion of the Hunt Campus Recovery Review of Expenditures and Reimbursement, Payments for Projects. Mr. Taylor Gill is here with us.
Good afternoon. I was at the Hunt School all afternoon long today. It really, really come together. I was shocked when I walked in the cafeteria this afternoon. It looks great. It looks wonderful. In fact, it looks so good. I asked Mr. Chapman if he could try to maybe get the board to do a tour next month. I think Dr. Brown, we mentioned maybe the Wednesday before, on December 4th. I think it'd be good for the board to see the progress that's been made, and it really looks wonderful. The gymnasium looks great. The wood floors in, the bleachers almost finished. The original building, hallways look great. The lights are in. Classrooms are nearly finished. Classrooms just are just lacking the blinds and some cleaning. AC's working. It really has come a long way. I just can't. It's been a long road since 2019, but it really looks good. We're looking at kind of have it divided into 4 buildings. We have the original administration classroom building, along with the gymnasium cafeteria. That we're looking to accept it and punch it out on December the 9th. That's a month from tonight. That's the when we have a progress meeting, the second Monday of the month. So we'll hopefully be able to accept that building on the 9th of December. We're looking at accepting the what used to be the home ec building for the Hunt School is now a small band hall and an art room. We're looking at accepting that a week later on December 16th. And then the last two, the two-story annex building and the Hunt Museum, we're looking at accepting that on January the 6th. So hopefully by the first week in January, it'll be complete. So the inside looks great. There's going to hopefully start placing the sidewalks, pouring the concrete sidewalks later this week. The courtyard looks good. So everything is going. It really looks good. It's just really like night and day, but especially with the AC on, all the lights are on, all the new LED lights in there. It really looks good. But hopefully, I think we talked about trying to look at it Wednesday, December 4th, at that review meeting when everybody's together.
If that is the consent of the board, that we meet with Mr. Gill after our review meeting, December 4th, to tour Hunt? Okay. Does that sound okay with everyone? Mr. Smith?
That's good with me.
Okay.
So are you saying that by January the 6th, Mr. Gill, all the bills will be complete?
Yes, sir. You'd be shocked if you walked in there today. You'd be shocked if you walked in that gymnasium. Gymnasium is probably 99% finished. It looks great, and it's got AC in it, which you didn't have before. The classroom buildings, they really just the blinds are lacking. They're doing the data now. They're pulling all the cat, I don't know, whatever it's cat 6, whatever the cabling. They're pulling all the data in. The lights are in. Said they'll start pouring the sidewalk. So by next month, it should be even further along. They got full crews there every day. We're working. It's just full of people working, finishing it up.
So what did we finally decide concerning the curtains on
I'm
the
sorry?
stage? What did we finally decide concerning the curtains that was addressed at one time? The curtains is on the stage.
Oh, the curtains. We have the curtains. We've stored the curtains. Mr. Little has those curtains. We can rehang them, or we can order new ones. I don't know whether they would survive rehanging, Steve.
Aren't they obsolete, those curtains, Mr. Little?
Yeah, yeah,
They not?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't think so, old as they are. Mr. Chairman, you shaking your head there. They gotta be obsolete.
Could you speak up, please?
I said I've already asked for, quotes on some curtains, so that we got one of these out, they're not, ain't no bad, not, they're not, I'm not sure I would let.
So it was also discussed about the mascot. What did you give Ms. Leach? Did y'all come to a conclusion?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That will be on the gym floor in the center court.
An angry hornet, right? Is that what you said? Okay.
Yep.
Any more questions?
So the elevator is complete also?
The elevator will be complete. They've got the elevator cab and entrance there on the original building. The masons got to come back in and brick around it, but it'll be finished next month, and it'll also be finished in the annex has an elevator too. So we have an elevator in both in the annex and the original building.
So in the museum, were there any changes in the museum?
Museum, it was all just made new. You know, the main, which originally was a shop here, that's all got new laying ceilings. It'll have all new floors, new paint. What was the band hall?
Yeah.
Is new. We have brand new restrooms that meet ADA. So we totally gutted the restrooms. So we have all new restrooms in the Hunt Museum building. And then what was coral, where we had the step riser, we took out those risers, and it's just one big room there. So everything everything is brand new in there.
So what do we do between the, museum and the back of the cafeteria? Were there any additions there? At one time, it was like a corridor.
Yeah,
And you come out-
they had a covered walkway, and then
Right.
they, kind of like at Fairview, they had gone in and put some aluminum storefront, which really wasn't very watertight, but they done that, and now we're just going back with the covered walkway between the back of the gymnasium there to, yeah, that's right, between the cafeteria and the Hunt Museum. It'll be a covered walkway. And then also be a covered walkway along the back side of the gym that goes into the annex, and then you can go also to the Hunt Museum through there.
And the annex is complete, also be complete.
It'll be
by then.
complete January the 6th.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
but it looks good. The windows really look good. It really looks, in that courtyard, it really looks nice. So I think the board will be pleased. So looking forward to walk through the board on the 4th.
Dr. Schubert?
This may be a question for Mr. Chapman. Are we having any more problems with security? Has there been any more vandalism?
No, we haven't. That was one thing we talked about today. Is, we haven't had any more since the last report, back in June, July. Right now, everything is pretty much here, and I know right now, we have to look at the board, depending on our next session, but no issues right now with,
Thank you, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
I have a question, and I'm not sure if you all were aware of this, but there was a design created just for Hunt. We already have it. That was part of the rebranding. You're not aware of a design? Okay. Back when we did the
Dr. LeBlanc
rebranding,
was here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. So I guess bring us up to speed on the choosing of the mascot, or however, for the floor, or the gym floor, you said?
well, when we discussed with, when we had the meeting with the, committee, one of the, concerns was when we were talking about the mascot, and there was one that was already in place in the museum area, but we wanted to be original of what, the designs and the colors and the mascot would look like. And in speaking with, I think from the yearbook that I received from one of the, committee members, there was a mascot on the front of the yearbook, but there was also one that was written by Ms. G. And so we got a chance to go back and look at those. Going back with that particular mascot was what the committee decided, and that is what they decided to bring back that particular mascot.
Okay, there's just a little bit of concern, because there's a disconnect in us being able to meet with you all in the committee to talk from a perspective of what we would like to see happen at Hunt versus what's actually happening in the building. Because we haven't had another meeting yet. We've requested one this summer, but we haven't had one.
Right, and I've actually asked for a couple meetings before we went through with that, and a lot of the, now, when I received the submission about meeting with that committee, that was from the board of asking to meet with that committee, those particular people.
Correct, but we haven't had a follow-up at all. We haven't had a one-on-one where we could talk through what's going on and what's happening in the building, besides if we, volunteer on our own to go over and meet with the contractors to see, take a tour of the building ourselves, or ask some questions here. So I guess we desperately need a meeting, because that is a drop ball, so to speak. If we're putting things in the building, it's being paid for with district funds, and then we're getting it on the back end, on this end. That's something that we could have sat down with the community and with the committee and said, hey, this is what we would like to see in the building, and we should have a say-so in that as well. And there is a design that's already created for Hunt.
Yeah, I was never provided any design. The only thing I was provided when we were moving forward with Hunt was information to create a committee, because I think that was we were talking about moving forward, whatever our colors and things that I was thinking of, to meet with the committee, because this came up in one of our meetings where we were, campaigning for
For the bond, that's right.
Right.
discussed, what we want that building to look like, and as we spoke about, how do we, when I asked about how do we move forward, um, that's when I was asking you what the committee decide to secure from them. Because one of the concerns they would have is one was with the color and where that design initially was, so,
And that's understandable, but I guess when we ask for a meeting, we haven't gotten one. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
since the last time that you all shared that information of what we were running, you know, I haven't heard anything back as far as when we can reschedule.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Mr. Gill.
What's that?
In the event that, well, if the design has to be changed, is it too late for that?
No, they hadn't started painting it yet. The gym floor is there, but
Okay,
yeah, so we'll go get it first thing morning, hold off on it.
okay, all right,
There's no
sounds
problem at
good.
all. Yeah, we'll get it, so
All right,
won't be a problem.
okay, thank you so much.
Mhm.
What kind of timeline are we gonna need for us to, so they don't get delayed while you're trying to figure out what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Need a timeline.
Well, I understand we need a timeline, but I was just, first thing I wanted to know is ask him, had they already started? I was over there
I
Friday, so,
understand that, but I'm saying is now that you've asked them to delay painting it, and so how soon are we gonna get together so we don't hold them up from giving them whatever design you want on the floor, because that's still a part of production.
well, I would have to check with the board, and if we're gonna work with the community, because I think initially we wanted to get the buy-in of the community, the people that were instrumental in that particular school, and so that's why we got the committee together, so I can meet as soon as possible. I know that we can meet soon as possible, but I'll have to poll the board to see what works for you guys.
Well, now, it's my understanding, the committee have already came up with a design, right? So then, if, it's fine to meet with this committee, but if the committee have been told that this is the design that we'll go with, then the board meets with them and decide to change, then where do we go from there? Because this committee is, my understanding, representing the community. Is that not correct,
That's
Mr.
right.
Chapman?
That's correct.
You correct me if I'm wrong.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so I'm thinking that they've already talked to people within the community that attended Hunt. So, I mean, it's fine for us to meet, but then my question will be then, if the board decide that we want to change the mascot, then the community have said, this is what we'll like, this was the original mascot, then where do we go from there?
I think that's something we can work out the details at that meeting. We'll go from there.
That's fine. It's just something we need to think about.
I'll follow up with the board tomorrow between me and Mr. Chapman. We'll follow up with you guys once we kind of poll the community, the people that have been a part of this committee, to see how soon we can meet. We will, if possible, we'll try to do it this week. We're gonna meet anyway to talk about Hunt on Wednesday. My team and some of the projects that we have, so we'll get it done.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gill. Moving to item 4, consideration and/or discussion to approve request to advertise bids for the renovation of McKellar Technology Culinary Arts Kitchen and Classroom and Medical Technology Restrooms. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I'll make the second. Are there any questions? We have a motion by Dr. Shoemake and a second by myself. Are there any questions? All in favor? Thank you.
Safe travels.
Item 5, contract renewals updates. Board, you've looked at those. Are there any questions about those? Moving to item 6, consideration and/or discussion to approve the 2024-2025 CMSD Board Annual Calendar. Is there a motion? I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion by myself and a second by Mr. Smith. Are there any questions?
Yes, I've got a couple of questions.
Yes, ma'am.
The calendar starts in July of '24, and, so there's some things that are on here that I don't think happened, so it's more aspirational as opposed to actual.
Yep.
So are we gonna catch up on things like, for instance, just take September, there was supposed to be a report on the revision of a plan to improve students' attendance. I don't think we've had that, have we? I don't think so. And then we've had survey students, school climate report, and also for the parents. And we didn't hear anything about that in September. So are we gonna push those later? And there are a couple of other things, like in October, a review, a plan to decrease serious discipline problems. And I don't think we got that either.
We-
So, I just want to make sure, since we've got the plan, we're following it. And it may just be we got a late start.
We did get a late start, but we can make plans to rearrange some of those things and add them at a later date so that they can take place. The calendar that we have is the one that we had from a prior year, and we just put it out there. When I put it out there,
Oh, yeah, no,
I
that's
asked
fine.
for,
It's just, we can change any way we
yes,
want to. So-
changes, yeah. So with the changes to come,
Sounds
So are
fine.
we gonna
I just wanted to
revise
bring
it,
them up.
or
revise it. We can revise it, however you guys want to work it out.
do we wanna hold it until next month then?
We
Or-
can. Well, we put it out there last month for revisions up until this date, but we can put it off again.
Well, I saw it, but
We-
I thought, were we moving it around, making the changes of things that hadn't happened yet? I don't know.
Well, why don't we just, I mean, I'm perfectly happy with going on and passing it with the understanding that Dr. Ellis will make the necessary adjustments. I mean, if we don't have a report on, say, just decreasing serious discipline problems or a review of how to do that, we just stick it somewhere else. I just want to make sure we get these reports.
Dr. Ellis?
Okay.
He will make the
I know
adjustments.
you
okay.
will.
All in favor?
Thank you, sir.
So what are we gonna do?
We're going to pass it, and Dr. Ellis is going to make the necessary corrections to get the reports to us.
So when will we get the corrections?
Dr.
Well,
Ellis,
when he gets,
I understand that. I'm asking when will,
okay, excuse me.
can you give us a timeline?
I'm talking to Dr. Ellis.
Yeah.
I'm asking you a question.
You asking me,
Yeah.
when will you
the
get the
board-
information?
Yes, sir.
I'll have it before January. I don't want to, I could tell, I can say, well, I'll have it the beginning of December, but I need to read it to really see what needs to go into it. I probably can have it before then, but definitely I could have it before January, before we go home on a fall, for our Christmas break.
So before January, in
Yes.
December, the end of
Yeah.
December.
I'll have it in December.
You saying about December then?
I'll say what is the last date that we are here before we go home for the winter break? We get out on the 20th, what?
20th, maybe? What is it?
The
20th.
20th,
Okay, I'll have it to the board by the 20th.
Okay.
That'll give me-
you're going to have the reports or
I'll-
the calendar.
I'll get the
adjustment.
calendar adjusted to reflect the reports that we're gonna provide to the board. The only way that I don't give the information to the board is that it's not available to me. But I'm almost sure if it's already on this calendar, it's something that we just have to pull and gather and get together.
Okay.
So I
and
can have
then-
all of that, the revised calendar with the dates and the information that we have missed. And I'll have that reflective in the calendar.
Okay, and we'll need
Get
to
out.
move Ms. Pringle's presentation as well.
Right.
That's tonight.
Ms. Pringle's tonight, she's
Oh, it's
ready.
tonight?
Yeah,
Okay,
tonight.
I'm making
She's ready.
sure, okay.
Mhm.
Sorry.
So we'll get this by our December board meeting.
December 20th,
December 20th.
Yeah.
right after the board meeting, before January board meeting.
So we're saying by January or
By
December?
December 20th.
December 20.
Okay. Calendar to be adjusted. So the minutes can reflect that. We can, are you,
Oh, God, I forgot she's not here. Sorry.
or we want to change the calendar and vote on it in December?
Okay, so we're gonna not vote on it?
I don't know, I'm asking you all.
Yeah. If we vote on it.
We can go and vote
we can-
on it.
Yeah.
Doc
Just
said he'll
make
make
sure
the
that the
changes.
minutes, okay, yeah, and
Yeah.
just make sure the
Right.
So
minutes
we can
come-
just make a note
Yeah, and
and
the
it's
bids.
due to the board by December the 20th,
I got it.
2024.
Okay. Okay, all in favor? Thank you. Item 7, consideration and/or discussion to approve Neil Schaefer, engineer scope of services for Columbus High School East pavement improvements, asphalt parking lot, and concrete delivery and concourse.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Reverend Richardson. Any questions? All in favor? Item C, goals updates, policy BA. Number 1 is the student attendance report, goal 1. Number 2 is the school safety report, goal 4. A, student discipline. 3, dropout report, goal 1. And on the next page, 4, safety report, the number of accidents in schools, goal 4. Are there any questions about any of those reports? You just got, Dr. Schumacher?
Yeah, I have a question about the monthly discipline report. I noticed that the categories have changed, the way that they're reported. And for instance, insubordination is a new category we haven't had before. I looked at last year's for this time frame because I wanted to do a comparison of fighting and see where we were on that. And then I noticed insubordination, which we haven't had before. I also don't know exactly who to congratulate on bus disturbances, which since for the last 3 months, we've only had 7 bus disturbances, or misconduct on bus, whereas at this point last year, between bus disturbance, horseplay, and bus incidents, we had 50. So I'm trying to figure out, I would love to know what took care of that problem. I don't need an answer right now, but I would like a follow-up on that. I do worry a little bit about how do you, as far as data collection is concerned, if you're doing year over year, or even month over month, if the categories change, how do you follow that data? Does that make sense? If they're not the same, then how do you know if we're making any progress on things we have problems with?
Well, I can't speak totally to all of that, but I do know that I've spoken with Michelle, and she has, with the new system that we have, some things we're not able to transfer over. That's those numbers that you asked me about last month, as far as we got that fixed now, but there was some issues with that, so we're still working.
Okay.
We're still working through
Yeah,
some
I'm
of
just
that.
worried, I'm concerned about, since we make decisions based on data, if the categories and the way they're named change, is there a way to capture past information so that the data is useful? That's,
Yeah, I'll have to check with her and check with the service
Okay.
for provider to see if that's something that they're able to do.
okay,
Yes, ma'am.
all right. Thank you.
Any more questions? Moving to item 5, superintendent updates and reports. A, Columbus Municipal School District, Dr. Stanley Ellis, superintendent.
Good evening. Of course, this is our mission, the mission of the Columbus Municipal School District. We will provide students with the skills necessary to be workforce or enlistment ready by building bridges amongst parents, the community, and all district employees. Our vision is student-centered and excellence-driven. Of course, these are our strategic goals, plans from 22 to 27. Drive with the acronym DRIVE. I'm not going to read all of those, but we have the D, the R, the I, the V, and the E. And so we want to make sure that we're transparent. We want to make sure that we are prudent with the monies that the state has invested in the district. And we want to make sure we establish safe working environments for our students and our staff, and making sure that we utilize data to drive all decisions that we make in the Columbus Municipal School District. All right, here is an enrollment breakdown, and this is very similar to last month. It has not changed. Of course, the enrollment has changed, but the information has not changed as far as the categories of schools. If you look here, first example, at the end of September 30th, Columbus High School had 864 students. At the end of October, they had 867. So the populations are fluctuating as far as enrollment is concerned. This gives you the total enrollment in September, which was 3,017. Total enrollment for the district at the end of October was 3,032. And this gives you the withdrawals, and I'm not going to read through all those by school. It tells you, where they are. If you look at Mill Creek, we have some students at Mill Creek. Of course, that is special ed, but for the most part, we have kids there as well. All right. This is the comparison report. And if you look at it, it compares to last year to this year. And if you look at Columbus High, last year they had 941. This year they've got 867. So this is the attendance and discipline. To Dr. Shoemake's question, I will follow up to see if we could capture some of the discipline from the prior years from the old system and pull those over. But at any rate, this is pretty self-explanatory. It gives the total student count, the days absent, the number of incidents that we have. So we track our discipline in the district, and it gives it to you by school and by year. So you can do a comparison from last year to this year at the same time, between October 1 and October 31st. All right, this is teacher and student attendance. This is something that we discuss each and every month. We talk about those leading and lagging indicators. In order for a student to learn, they need to make sure that the student is in the seat. And in order for a student to receive quality instruction, we need to make sure that we have teachers there that are providing that quality instruction. So if you look at the attendance here, this gives it to you by school, the total number of teachers at, just say, Columbus High School, 61. The total absences that they had, teacher absences was 49%, and that includes sick, personal leave, and sometimes unpaid leave. So that gives you that number. And so it's the same all the way down. If you look at this column, it gives you the total number and the percentages. Student attendance, if you look at Columbus High, prior month they had 86%. This month they've had 83%. So we've got to work on that. That's below where we really need to be. And so we want to make sure that we keep our eye on this. I know that Dr. Andrews has been working with the students, trying to provide some incentives and those types of things to get them to come to school, because we know they need to be at school. This gives you the total teacher days for the month and the total student days for the month. Intercession, this is just a little glimpse of intercession. I told you guys last month that I would follow up with this. And so this is the intercession for fall 2023-24 and 24-25. This is the intercession that we just completed last month in October. This is the intercession from last year, and you can see the differences in the expenditures that we spent from child nutrition to security and those types of things from year to year. And so last year we spent a little bit more than we spent this year. So just wanted to make sure that I could share that with you guys. These are just photos from our celebration that we had last month in celebration of the bee. These are some of the staff and the students that were participating in the Be Like Us parade and celebration. We really had a good time. I think everybody enjoyed it, so we're going to try to keep the good work up so that we can continue to have these celebrations. Anybody have any questions?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Under your CMSD strategic plan goals 22 through 27, what have the district done to innovate strategies to improve parental and community engagement?
Well, I keep the community informed through that roundtable that I have. I attend a lot of community events, and anytime I attend a community event, I always avail myself to tell individuals about the school district and constantly promoting the school district. But that roundtable is a major ground for us to kind of get our word out. Many of the people that are on the roundtable are many of the same people that were working with us when we were floating the bond in the spring. So it gives us a lot of latitude. They have an opportunity to not just talk with me as a superintendent, but they have a chance to talk with all of the people that are on my leadership team. This week, they're going to also have an opportunity to talk with the principals because the principals will be there, and I like them to hear from the principals as well. So those are some major avenues, and we're working with Ms. Pringle. She's working to make sure that we have an active presence on our district website so that we kind of have the same message that's going out from the school district, but also the schools as well. So we've done a good job, I think, of promoting the school district and constantly putting us in a positive light. From visiting the church to seeing people at Walmart, I'm always going to be promoting the school district. And I realize that in this job, it's not a 8-hour day job. I'm always at work, and so it never ends. And so I'm going to be an ambassador for the school district wherever I am.
So you mentioned the round table.
Yes,
How
sir.
often does the round table meet? When will the round table next meeting? When is it scheduled?
The next meeting is scheduled for the day after tomorrow. Typically, those meetings are kind of in sync with our board meetings. If a board meeting is on Monday, typically, unless something changes, we have those meetings on Wednesday. And we kind of give them a recap of some of the things that we did at the board meeting, but also we have other things that we talk about. We have a couple people on the round table that are very instrumental in the Hunt bill, and so those are common questions that they ask. We give them updates on the intercession, ask them about feedback, anything that they may be hearing in the community regarding, what can we do better, where are we missing it, we know we're not perfect, and those types of things. And so it allows us to have real conversations. We've got clergy on there, we've got law people on there, we've got individuals that represent retired educators from the collegiate level and K-12. And so we have a real diverse group of individuals that participate in that roundtable. And so it's been very valuable for us.
So from the superintendent standpoint, how do you feel as superintendent? What do you think the district is as far as the schools? Do you think where you expect them to be at this time of the semester?
I do. I'm concerned about some things, but I'm not overly concerned right now. When we reviewed the data, some of these schools were following in the same path that they are now. This is certainly not where we want to be, but it is the reality, and so we're working to put some supports in those buildings that we're concerned about all buildings, but there are certain places that I'm a little bit more concerned than others. And so we've already met with those principals, and we're putting things in place to try to support them. Any other questions, comments? Yes, ma'am. Dr. Shoemake.
I just wanted to make sure I understood you correctly about going back and correcting the data, or this would be for teacher attendance.
For teacher attendance, that's already been cleaned up. This month is clean. So going back to look at what was done in the past, I will ask to see if she could run that report. I'm not absolutely sure that she'll be able to do that. We've been working with the company to try to clean it up, and so it seems like we finally got it cleaned up. I will go back to see if that's something that she's able to do when she runs the report, because the numbers that we had the other month were extremely high. So I'll check to see if Michelle can do that.
It looks like the August report is okay. It doesn't seem out of line, just September.
Yeah.
September.
Yes.
Seems crazy.
Okay. I'll see what we can do, if we can get that one fixed. I'll ask her to run that one again.
I had a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Have we surveyed the parents this year or the students since our intercession?
I think we have. I think that's a part of what we have tonight.
We surveyed the
sur-
teachers, not the
okay,
students or the
not the
parents?
students. Okay, all right,
Okay.
okay.
Why would we not? I'm just
I-
curious. We have in the past. Mhm. I would think that information would be critical because we are trying to, see if this is working, especially with the funds that are being allocated for the intercession break. And it is an absorbent amount, and we want to make sure that our students are getting what they need and they're engaged, as well as our parents, that, they are supporting it, but we want to know, how, do they like it? Is it working for them and their household? Those are very critical pieces to moving forward. Okay. How did we send it out last year? Right, okay. Was there a Falcon Blast with that, or we just? Right, I'm saying to remind them or tell them, hey, go on there and fill out the survey. I think the Falcon Blast was originally started with like emergencies and things of that nature. People get a phone call and it would let them know what to do. That's something that was implemented before school status, if I'm not mistaken. Mhm. Well, if you're saying it is good, I guess I'm wondering why we didn't get the information from the parents. I don't know. We desperately need that because moving forward would be, Dr. Ellis, I'm sure, and his team will be getting the calendar ready for the upcoming year to determine if we need to go back into the modified calendar or not. That's critical.
We'll get a survey done.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, is it, when you came up with questions, or maybe I should wait till you give your presentation, because I really wonder about the wisdom of not asking the same questions more or less every time, because you don't get data that is comparable. If you're not asking the teachers, if you're only asking the teachers, and you're not asking the students and parents, then I'm not sure how much that's really helping. I mean, I don't understand why you wouldn't use the same format every time. Changing format corrupts data.
I think moving forward, what we'll do is just use the same survey that we're using now. Whatever you use for the students, we'll keep those will be the standard questions. And whatever we do with the parents, we'll do the same. And so we'll keep it the same and we won't change it. We'll just give the same survey each time. That way we're comparing the same thing. Okay? Any other questions, comments?
Thank you, Dr. Ellis.
Thank you.
Item B, CMSD Fall 2024 Intercession Update. Mrs. Shanice Ellis, Assistant Superintendent of Student Services.
We're going to do a quick little video, and then I'll talk about the data components. Thank you, Ms. McGee. If you would, Ms. McGee, if you would go to the outcome slide for me. So we looked at what percentage of our students who would score 6% or higher on the remediation standards. That was going to be our focus for this particular intercession. Here's why we selected 60% as a cut score, because MDE's cut score, anytime you're at 60% or higher, that is considered to be passing. So when we look at Joe Cook, the number of students who score 60% or higher on the remediated standards, if you look there, if you notice the grades second on down, you had a higher percentage of students who scored pretty high on the standards that were 60% or higher. And as you shift downward, you see that third grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade start taking some dips in the data. We are aware of some concerns with fifth grade. We are aware of some concerns with the fourth grade math. We've talked with Ms. Weddle, and we have a game plan in place in terms of bringing teachers together, by grade levels and discussing those proven strategies that's working with students who are struggling. Also, we're shoring up our small group, making sure that they are standard-based, making sure that we have some quick checks, making sure that our data PLCs are sitting around talking about what are we going to do different with our instructional practices in order to get the student outcomes that we desire. If you go to Fairview. In Fairview, she had an average of 80% of her students who met that cut score, over 82% of her students who met that cut score. Again, third grade is a concern. If you will go to the next slide, Ms. McGee. Franklin, she had high percentages in those kindergarten, pre-K, first, second. Third grade ELA is a concern. And as you can recall, board members, we had a high percentage of students who failed the third grade test at Franklin last year. So we have some things in place to prevent this problem. We're working on it. We got some high dosage tutoring in place, along with small groups, along with some interventions to try and see if we can close some of these gaps. Sale Elementary, we did not have someone to cover the pre-K class. We had to pull somebody from the high school, so that's why we don't have any data up there for pre-K. But if you look, kindergarten, first, second, the remediation standards were pretty high. But then second grade in math, 44% of the students scored 60% or higher. So we know that's an area we have to work on. And then as you go down to third grade was pretty high in terms of students meeting that cut score, 65% or higher. Okay. Stokes-Beard, pre-K, kindergarten, pretty high. And as we shift downward, we are aware Dr. Jennings has a great action plan in place to address these deficit standards. We did have a large pool of students who failed third grade at Stokes-Beard, and the action plan that's in place is working. We just finished our 4.5 assessments last week, so we are going to be attending her data PLC to discuss what the data currently looks like. So of course, this is 4-week-old data. So she's made some gains and her action plan is showing promising. Columbus Middle School had about 80% of those students who will score 60% or higher on those cut scores. So definitely highlighting they're doing some great work over there and they're meeting those targets. And then the high school, we had about 70% of those students, Algebra 1, biology, and history, who met that cut score of 60% or higher. English 10 is a tough assessment, and it's also an opportunity to work with those teachers. Our 9th grade teachers are fairly new, so we're building some capacity there. With 10th grade, Dr. Andrews has a great plan in place, got small groups going. He's gonna also have high dosage tutoring and some boot camps going, hopefully to decrease some of the gaps that we have. And then our survey results, and these are results from our teachers. And we were asking about the planning time. One of the issues last year was teachers talked about the planning time and them not having enough time on the front end to plan for intercession. So we wanted to make sure we did a better job with this. So based on the results, we did. And then overall engagement of students during remediation, based on the results from the teacher, about 90%. How would you rate engagement during enrichment? We were pleased with these results as well, about 90. And then Ms. McGee, if you go to the last one, survey question. And these were the changes that the teachers listed. They talked about bringing more help in, more time for remediation, ensuring that intercession is not during homecoming week, and I couldn't agree with them more. Teachers not having to do lesson plans or assessment, that won't change because we definitely got to have a plan in place as we're remediating students. And the last one is enrichment activities at the high school. So these were our survey results. And so board, we'll go back and survey our parents and our students, so you can have that data piece, so you can make an informed decision as it relates to intercession for, I believe normally you get the calendar in January, February. So we'll have those data pieces for you as you are making a decision if we're going to continue to move forward with intercession. Are there any questions?
So the information you gave us, I'm sorry, the numbers, tell me how that correlates to the number of students that attended intercession.
Let me give you the list of students that attended intercession.
I'm just more interested in the numbers.
You're interested in the total number of students that attended intercession?
Yeah, about breakdown by school and those students, because those numbers do not correlate based on what you're giving us. That's a total assessment of the building, but everybody in that building did not attend intercession, correct?
No, the data is based on the number of, these were the assessment results, and the kids who scored 60% or higher on the assessment results is what these numbers reflect.
Right, but that's the total building. Is that correct?
When you say total building, I did it by school.
Right. All the children in that school, did everybody attend intercession in the school? If I went to Fairview, was everybody in, what did that reflect? Was that the total building, or was that a breakdown of just the students that attended intercession?
Those were the students that attended intercession. I'm collecting data on the kids who attended intercession who got remediation.
Okay.
Just the FYI board, you guys have already been sent this by Dr. Ellis, but these are the number of students that attended each day at each school.
Question about reminders. Did any of the students who attended the intercession either in the spring or fall, attend the intercession again this fall?
I would
If you
have,
know the students that were there,
I can check on that. I wouldn't know that offhand. The kids who attended last year, are they the same kids that attended this year? That's your question. Okay. Let me get with the principals and get that data for you.
One question. I know when intercession first started out, it's supposed to be kind of focused around students who were having problems
Correct.
in the area. What are we doing to at least notify the parents that these students are in this low percentile and they actually need these days, offer these extra days to be able to strengthen them in the area where they're weak? I mean, I see the pictures and we have a lot of fun, but are the kids, the students that really need the intercession being served or being, what are you doing to make them reach out to them?
So the principals use school status. They call parents, the teachers call parents to try and get students there. Our attendance was, we had a pretty good attendance throughout the week, and I think because we had students were able to go to homecoming that Friday if they attended during that week. So I think that's why our attendance was a little bit better. But last year, because that was our first year rolling this out, ran into a lot of problems with kids coming one day or 2 days and not coming the rest of the week. So one of the motivations, the incentive was to give them a free game ticket that Friday so they could attend. But teachers and principals constantly are reaching out to parents, trying to get parents to bring students in. It is a challenge at our high school because we're competing with kids who go to work.
so do you have any numbers on, or percentages of the students in a school who need remediation, who attended the intercession for help?
Okay, ask me that one more again.
Do you have any numbers, for instance, at Cook, that the principal or the teachers say these students need remediation? This is a follow-up on Mr. Richardson's question. Out of the total number of students who need remediation, and then compare that
When I met with principals rotated every student through remediation. Principals rotated every student through remediation because there's always a deficit skill that a kid can work on. So they rotated every kid that came in the building, they rotated them through some type of remediation.
Even the gifted kids.
Yes, because a gifted kid has a deficit in something.
Any more questions for Ms. Wilson?
Thank you.
Thank you. Item C, Human Resources Update. Mrs. Latoya Evans, Director.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I stand before you with updates from the Human Resources Department. Dr. Ellis has already covered our mission and our vision statement. Every year, the board, you guys ask for the percentages of provisional and standard license holders. This school year here, one-year license employees, we have 32. Three-year license holders, we have 21. Five-year license holders, we have 235. Now, out of that 32 one-year license holders, we have requested through Mississippi Department of Education 28 special non-renewable licenses and 4 emergency certifications, which is also called the Veterans Teaching License. We have 2 career and technical employees that we requested license for this year and 1 resident teacher. Total district positions that we do have budgeted is 548. Certified is 288, and classified is 260. This is the number of employees at each one of our locations for those budgeted positions. Human resources functions of the strategic plan. In the acronym of DRIVE, we are the R, where we recruit and retain highly effective teachers and staff throughout the district. Key ways that HR contributes to the goals of the strategic plan. Number 1 being recruitment strategies. This is where HR develops and implements recruited strategies to attract effective teachers and staff. And that's by job posting and marketing and networking with our local school district, networking and partnering with our local colleges and universities. Sorry about that. Number 2 is screening and selection. This is where HR go through like the screening processes and application reviews, interview processes, background checks, and drug screens. We making sure that that is done before we even present any applicant to the board for approval. Onboarding. Effective onboarding is vital for retention, and this is where HR goes through the process of making sure that everybody, all of our employees, after board approval, has everything that they need. We provide a comprehensive orientation to help those new hires get used to what our mission and our vision statement is. And we also work with our curriculum department and our federal programs department on offering mentorships to all new hires during their onboarding process. Next is professional development, and this is where HR collaborates with our curriculum directors to facilitate ongoing professional development throughout the year for all employees. And that's offering like classroom management, training for new hires, and different workshops throughout the year. employee engagement and support. This is maintaining important levels of employee engagement, which is also key to retention. And this is like feedback mechanism where we offer surveys to each of our employees when we offer professional development to get feedback from them on how the professional development went, is it helpful to them, and so forth. And also, we work with our public relation officer, Miss Pringle, and she's offering like Falcon Friday and student teacher spotlights. Next is compensation and benefits, and this is where HR ensures competitive compensation, benefit packages, incentives that attract and retain talent. And this is where we work with our business office on reviewing salary schedules to make sure we're competitive with local school districts. Also working with the business office and making sure we are offering those hair care packages and so forth. And incentives, we working with our federal programs department and making sure that we're continuing to do math and science sign-on incentive, and we're offering practice assessment reimbursements, and any the partnership that we have with William Carey and offering reimbursement for classes after they've taken those first 3 classes. Work environment, and that's HR's function in making sure that we are helping to promote a positive work culture, which is also essential. Data analysis and feedback, that's where HR do look at our turnover rates every year with our superintendent, making sure that we see where people are leaving and or people are staying in the district. We also work with Ms. Terrell Smith on those performance evaluations also that she sends out. Okay, so CMSD employee exit survey. Ms. McGee, it went completely out. Okay. So I just went through and picked a couple of questions from the exit survey, and this is from people that left the district as of June the 30th of 2024. I'm leaving my position because, and it's retirement, relocation to pursue education, family needs, dissatisfaction of coworkers, lacking of funding, and personal reason, health reasons, and other. Another question is, what did you like and enjoy least about your job? And we're being transparent. We're just, putting out there where some of the comments were. The component I least like about my position is the classroom size, classroom grouping, and some of the classes, and the lack of working technology. No support on misbehavior, and the MTSS process, the paperwork was what I enjoyed least about my job. I was used to conducting meetings for RTL in Alabama. However, we have to find a better way to provide intervention to the students and less paperwork for teachers. Teachers need more time to engage and teach their students and not be bogged down with paperwork. Would you recommend this district to others as a place to work? Why not? Yes, I would recommend. Columbus has a strong historic presence with the community with so much more to accomplish. Yes, new teachers can learn a lot and shape themselves as educators. Another question was, please share any additional comments about the position in school and department of the district. Thank you for such an opportunity to fulfill my calling. You are appreciated. Thank you for this amazing opportunity to pursue education. If I ever decide to come back to Mississippi again, I will be interested again. Current district vacancies on the screen is kind of smeared a little bit, so I put an extra copy in there for you guys to be able to see it clearly of all current vacancies that we have in the district. The ones that are in red will be on the agenda tonight for your approval. Before I move on to any questions, I received an email on yesterday from one of our teachers, well, from a couple of teachers in the district regarding the condolences email that we sent out through HR. And this email, I want to read it if you guys don't mind. It says, Miss Evans, good morning. I have a request, please. If you don't mind, my father passed away November the 1st, and there will not be a ceremony funeral for him at his request. Would you mind doing a condolence email like you have before in the past? I would like to be able to keep this as a memory because his request was not to have such. If you don't mind, thank you very much. And I know of another teacher that has lost her brother and would like an email as well. I just didn't want to ask for only myself and ignore my coworker. I appreciate it very much and believe these condolences emails are one of the best changes at CMSD. So of course I can take credit for that because that is something that Dr. Ellis brought into the district. So thank you, Dr. Ellis. Are there any questions?
Yes, ma'am. On your exit interviews,
Mhm.
Ms. Evans, are the exit interviews on a volunteer basis?
Volunteer basis.
So roughly how many people that employees that leave the district, volunteer to do exit interviews?
This past year, we had 30 plus employees that left the district and only 12 did the exit interviews. And Ms. Smith at the front desk send those out every time we present to the board that someone is resigning in a certified or at will position, and they have a choice if they want to do the exit survey or not.
Any more questions? Ms. Young?
Ms. Evans, we, last year, and I think it was this year as well, last year, the mentorship program was started for the teachers. Can you give us an update on that?
It actually was just started. We started it the month of October. So every month, myself, Ms. Cornwall, and Ms. Smith, we make sure that they're doing. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. 2 meetings a month, and that's them the mentors going to the mentee, and the mentee going to the mentor classroom for observation. So we are also, Columbus High School started theirs on their own, and it's called Chat and Chew, and they have a meeting monthly with their teachers, and this is the administrative team having meetings monthly with their new hires, on top of what we are also doing. Thank you.
Y'all doing anything towards mental health awareness? I know that's a big issue, and we kind of let that slip through the crack or act like it's not happening. Especially, I know when you deal with the alternative school, we send a lot of kids over there. There's those teachers and staff over there. What are we doing to make sure that they understand or be able to recognize the symptoms and things that those kids being sent over there may present to help them deal with the issues? Are we doing that? What are we doing with that?
You're asking if we have trainings for our teachers to be able to deal with students with, or our teachers themselves?
I mean, the teachers deal with the students and even mental themselves. Because probably they get through dealing with them, they probably need some help.
Right, so the only thing I can speak on is our teachers that's dealing with it. And we have had an increasing number with FMLA requests due to mental, but only thing we can do is just suggest right now, because we used to have a position, a behavior specialist position in the district where that was taken care of and offering our employees a different companies or medical facilities where they can go and seek guidance for that, but we don't have that position right now. So what we do is just not particularly tell them where to go. We just give them a list of clinics that they can go to, and that's from the teacher aspect. Now, we do have also special behavior specialists on special education side. Now, as far as what they are doing with the students that's dealing with that, I can't answer that question.
Yeah, just on the usual sheet that you give us, there's, for personnel, there's, we've got asterisks on applicants that did not complete a traditional teacher educator program. You're familiar with that, right?
Say that again, Dr. Shumane.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Applicants that did not complete a traditional educator program pending certification.
Right, so those are our special non-renewables, the 28, I want to say.
Okay, now, are these the ones that are paid as a substitute teachers at a rate of $100?
Long-term subs, and we have currently 2 right now. One, actually, I just submitted her application on Saturday and waiting on MDE approval. So we'll be down to just 1 long-term sub.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was just wondering what, if there was a limit to how long they could keep rolling as a long-term sub.
Well, each semester, is a deadline with MDE that you can request for a license. So after they don't meet their deadline, they're basically like long-term subs with the district.
Okay,
Okay, you're welcome.
So, Mr. Evans, on the temporary certificates, like on a year basis, so it's your responsibility to follow up
Yes,
and make sure that they renew them or
Yes.
whatever the case may be?
yes, sir. So I send out letters to the employees twice a semester, and they're just reminders. If it's, actually, it's any district employee that license is going to end June 30th, but specifically those 1-year license holders, yes, they get those letters twice a semester to let them know, hey, where you at? They sign off on it. Give me feedback. Let me know where they're at in the program, because they should be in the MAT program, and if they'll be able to receive a license. But if they don't receive a traditional license, they can go and take the practice exam assessment again. They just have to pay for it again, and MDL approve it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can one long-term sub work a whole year?
This is actually our first year, I'm gonna be honest with you, and not having an employee and she's having trouble with passing the practice assessment. So this is our very first time since I've been in this role, which is 3 years now, to ever have to deal with it.
Any more questions? Thank you.
Thank you all.
Moving to item D, public information update. Ms. Nikki Pringle, Public Information Officer. Good evening.
There we go. Dr. Ellis already went over this, so I'm going to skip it. I'm going to start off with talking about the conference that I went to when I first started. It gave me a lot of insight on why I even exist in a position in the district. They made us really think about why we have public information officers, why there's a communications department at any school building. So it really got me thinking about when I am posting stuff, when I'm making flyers, when I'm doing all of the announcements for different games and stuff like that, who am I talking to? Who is my audience? What am I trying to do with it? So the whole conference was on how to tell a story about your school district. So now, every time I post something, I'm trying to target my audience. Who am I talking to? Am I talking to the students? Am I talking to the parents? Am I talking to the community members? What am I trying to get them to see in whatever I'm posting? So we came up with all the reasons of why we want teachers to look at a post or an event. Do we want to inform them of something? Do we want to retain them? Students, parents, community members, all the same thing. What are we trying to do? So they talked about what stories should do, inform, influence, inspire, how to make your district stand out, make the invisible visible, because every day when you walk in these school buildings, there's amazing things going on that nobody gets to see. So just trying to make it where everybody in the community can see the awesome things that only, one teacher saw that day. Of course, make the audience feel something is the main goal. Just some examples of how to do this, or like what's changed, or maybe my things looking different from other people's postings from earlier. More information, don't make them question what we're posting. So I try to make sure that when I post above it, the verbiage is telling the community exactly what's going on. Also, more emojis, that makes everybody feel something. Exclamation marks, and then just more positive phrases, if they're giving high fives all around, just trying to make it more interesting when you're writing. And on top of that, on our awards post that we did, there's something for every single person in the target audience. So you hit the teachers, you hit the students, you hit the community members, the board members are in all the pictures, the superintendent. So it really, you just want to try to get everybody in the community to look at it. And with telling the story, we started the Falcon Fridays, I guess last year or the year before, I have no idea, but they were started. And I took it and wanted to make it into a story. So instead of just having an alumni with the year they graduated, and that's awesome to spotlight them, but really make it valuable for the other students who are looking at it, the parents, everybody that knows that person. So getting them to give you advice on what they would tell the high school students this year. They've graduated 20 years ago. What advice would you give a new high school student? That's more valuable when people are looking at it and trying to, motivate them to do better in school or go to college where this person went to college, things like that. Just some data for social media. Facebook has increased followers to 6.9 thousand. I got data from something that was left on my desk, and last October they had 5.8, so it's gone up almost over 1,000. Engaged followers are up 86.5, so engaged followers are the people who like it, the people who share it, the people who react to it somehow. Just to give you an example of how much posting is going on, there was 80 plus posts in October on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere you can post it, on our website, whatever. When I did this PowerPoint, it was like at 85, so it was probably over 90 by the time we got done with October. Just my observation on Facebook, it's a lot of parents, teachers, more adults than students. So on Facebook, you're really getting to the parents a lot more than the students. On Instagram, when I get there, it's more students. When I go in and look at the names of who's liking everything, it's all the kids from school. So the X, previously Twitter, we are not doing that great on that platform. But I will say that as I've studied it, you have to use a certain amount of words to even post on Twitter. You can't explain a whole lot on Twitter. So, posting a game day flyer or posting just a flyer with just a few words is fine, but there's no stories going on Twitter with the amount of words that you can post. Instagram is up to 906 followers. Engaged followers are up 27.9, and those numbers are for October, just to let you guys know. And then same amount of posts were made on Instagram. And like I said, it's a lot of students. I'm not gonna say all students, but I just noticed the names of parents and students versus Facebook and Instagram. There's no number that I have for anybody, but just to break this down, because when we're looking at how much engagement we're getting, in this data, someone could probably say, well, there was only 32 people that liked that post. So I kind of just wanted to explain some things about looking at the data from social media. I'm just going to read it because it says it better than I can explain it. But so if you notice a post that has, let's say, 62 likes on it, it's important to remember that if that post was shared by somebody else, every like that that person got also goes in with your data. So it might be that you only got 62 likes, but let's say 15 people shared it. All of those likes and shares and comments go on your data because it was originally your post, which is a good thing anyway because they're seeing the content. And that's really what we want, whether it's on our page or on somebody else's. The public needs to see the content. I did notice that the majority of the Facebook followers are women, so I think they're the mamas. This post right here is actually an example of what I was explaining. It has 66 likes and 84 people loved it, which are these little things right here. But it reached one of the largest number of people and the most interactions of any of our posts. So it actually got 5,987 people to engage with it because it was shared 35 times. So everybody that went and liked it on somebody else's page, that's how many people actually engaged with it. This is how many people it reached, like 17,000 people saw it. Whether that was probably just scrolling, but engagement means they actually did something. So they commented, they liked, they loved, they did something with that post. Okay, Ms. McGee, this is the slide. Okay, so my video wouldn't work, so we had to split that up. But just some more new and improved initiatives going on with social media is the Faculty Friday Spotlight, which is every week I visit one school, they pick somebody that they want to highlight, and we highlight them that week. So this is an example of the Faculty Friday highlight right here. This is Mr. Norwood. He is a custodian at Stokes Beard. And then the video you just watched was a high school teacher, and she actually is getting spotlighted tomorrow. But what I wanted to tell you about the videos was I've had 3 teachers where I knock on the door and tell them I'm there to spotlight them, and they start crying because they are just so happy that somebody wanted to spotlight them. So it's working. Their family gets on there and comments on it. They email me and they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. You know, I've never been highlighted. I've never been spotlighted. Their kids are commenting on it, their students. So it really has worked. And it all goes back to the same purpose of I'm not trying to do something cute online. We're trying to retain teachers. We're trying to motivate them. We're trying to keep them, you know, the morale up. So it really is working, and they are getting super excited when I show up at their door. So that's just another example of one of the spotlights for one of the TAs at Cook. And then I just have some events that we've posted about recently. They've gotten a lot of traction with the audience. So just all of the things that we do. You know, we went to the play, posted about it. It was great, by the way. Basketball games, parades, all of the things. More events. The local media relations, so I only listed 3 because they're the main 3. The people that I'm in contact with or that do stories on the district or anything like that. So WCBI and the Dispatch are probably the main ones because they're local. WTVA does a few things every now and then. So instead of reading this, I'm just going to show you. There's examples of this year, what WCBI has done, just posting different things around the district. Commercial Dispatch, we do an ad every week. I don't know if everybody's aware, but this thing right here is the ad every week. I usually put games or any events that the school's having in there, and it's posted every Wednesday. So it's in the paper about everything we do during the week. Anything we do, though, they'll call and get comments, or I can call them. I called somebody about the breast cancer awareness run, and they came out and took pictures and did an article on it. So they're pretty close. WTVA has done a few things. And then last thing I have is just ongoing projects that I'm working on. So collaboration with McKellar. They have some kids that want to do photography and go to sporting events, take pictures, edit them, that kind of thing. So I'm going to be there for support of that. Unifying the websites and social media. That is going to be an ongoing project. I'm trying to get that organized to be able to get somebody from every school to cooperate and do everything a certain way, which when I talk about my last slide, I'm going to get into some more. Me and Ms. Evans have talked about this. We did create this flyer at the beginning of the year for job fairs to take with her so that they'd know what we were about, what we offer, trying to put things on a flyer that teachers want to come here for. So we did do the flyer, but what I learned at the conference was we need an entire page on our webpage, or on our website, dedicated to what do teachers want, how can we get them here, instead of just having apply now. Because right now when you go and you look at, Ms. Evans has a page that says human resources. It tells about her, that kind of thing. And then there's the apply now button. So we need something to entice them to come. Something that looks like this that they can click on and say, okay, well, where is the payment salary? Where is this? Where is this? Where they can really see to compare us to other districts or whatever they're looking for. See what different things that we offer that maybe another district doesn't. And then this is my last one, a communication plan for the district. I did kind of finish this week, so I have a first draft. It is nowhere near being able to show people yet because I got to go back through it. But this is what we're going to use to unify the websites and the social media pages for every school so that everybody has a clear direction of exactly what they're supposed to post, how they're supposed to do it, what color should it be, what brand kit logo should they use. All of that stuff needs to be discussed. So communication plan needs to come first, and then going into getting everybody on the same page at every school for the websites and the social media posts for every school. Questions?
Ms. Springer, how often do you meet with the media concerning events that are taking place within the school district?
Meeting with them, not so much. We do keep in contact on the phone. I mean, we all have each other's numbers. And if I need them, they answer right away. If they need me, I try to get back to them as soon as they need me as well. But we do not have a meeting set up.
So if a principal have something special going on at the school, they contact you?
Yes.
And you'll contact the media?
Like the little pre-K run, I got an email saying this is what, I think Ms. Weddle emailed me. I sent it directly to them, got in contact with whoever I could get in contact with on that, and they said they would come and do it, and they did it. They'll even say, get me a picture, give me the story, and they'll do one. So I don't have necessarily meetings set up with them, but they are very available if I need them.
Any more questions? Thank you, Ms. Burnham. Item 5, open forum, policy BCBD. We have Mr. Orlando Abrams, CMSD parent. Is he here? Come right up. Hello there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it? Okay, we got 3 minutes, so. Go ahead. No, we good, we good. Okay, let me set my time. First of all, good evening. Board, superintendent, people in attendance. First and foremost, Landis Abrams, parent, Booster Club, baseball program. We're here to talk about a little sports, but not much. First and foremost, want to thank the school board, AD, Mr. Chapman, for all the change that happened at the baseball field. Physically, 2023, 2024, thanks to the parents and the supporters who passed the bond, which is gonna help us with the baseball program. But going into the 2025 season, we still have a few lingering intangible items that we want to get some clarifications on, that we feel as though over the last 4, 5, 6 months, we've been getting conflicting answers from. And some of the parents, we got together over the last couple of weeks, and it just really been going on, and we just took the whole laundry list and we compressed it. And we put it in a package, and we wanted to present it to the board tonight. And hopefully we can get some answers or some clarifications at you guys' earliest convenience. Any questions for me? I got 1 minute and 45 seconds.
What is,
They got a minute, 45
go ahead. What is your timeline on when you expect this back?
Some stuff are intangible, Ms. Young, just as quick as we can get an answer going into the 2025 baseball season. Some stuff is tangible, physical, that we know may not happen, but just some questions, some enlightenment that I could take back to the parents as soon as possible.
How often are your meetings?
Ooh. Formal meetings, as needed, questions and concerns, every day.
Oh, every day. So y'all meet once a month, twice a month?
Well, we're starting to pick it up a little bit since we're getting closer to the baseball season, but we will be meeting as soon as we hear something from you guys.
So, Mr. Abrams,
Yes, sir. Mr. Smith.
I know you have you and the parents, I have a list here to the board. So if you had to prioritize, what would be you and the parents' major concern?
Well, okay, it's twofold, Mr. Smith. If Orlando personally had to prioritize, I would prioritize trying to get some clarification going into the season of what is our coaching staff is going to be like, because I know we're kind of understaffed, and there's no fault to Coach Farmer or whatever, but we're going to need more help. I think we got a total of 32 kids with our baseball program, and we got some coaches coming in, but everything is still in the air, and we just, as parents, I personally want to know some clarification, but I have other parents with me, and I know everybody can't get 3, see my top, man, I know my clock done hit me, but we got more parents here, and it's hard for me to say what would be their most pressing issue, but a lot of the talk we have been discussing is coaching. Will we have enough to get through the 2025 baseball season and try to have a competitive season moving forward?
Any more questions?
Yeah. When did the district stop purchasing Letterman jackets for the kids? And why did the district stop purchasing Letterman jackets? Because most districts pay for Letterman jackets for the kids. If a kid play ball, 9 through 12, and the district doesn't pay for a jacket? Since when they stopped doing it? When did it change then?
Haven't done it since
It was always.
Oh,
a
yeah.
problem. You had to play so many, you had to meet a certain criteria in order to letter. And in order to get a jacket, like you could get a letter if you played certain amount of games, participated. Then in order to get a jacket, you had to be able to participate in a certain amount of games and a certain amount of time. The jacket just didn't automatically go to everybody. You had to actually be participated and played a certain amount of quarters. If you say football, you played a certain amount of quarters. Or basketball, you played a certain amount of quarters. Then you qualified for a jacket, and they stopped paying for jackets. I don't know when the district stopped, but they always paid for jackets prior to probably the last 4 or 5 years. I guess they always gave jackets to those.
That's done, and I couldn't y'all, but that's done in the Golden Triangle. I mean, that's been 40 years ago. When I played sports, they gave out Letterman jackets to the athletes in every sport. Yeah, they did.
since I've been on the board.
But I mean, when I was in high school, there were qualifications you had to meet, but we paid for our own. If the students keep it, they pay for it.
I think if you go back and check, at one time, this district paid for Letterman jackets. Yeah, I know for a fact they
They
did.
used to do it through activities funds. That's where you could pay it.
I know
But
they
it's been-
paid for them.
Yeah, but it's been quite a few years, and I don't know how far, but I remember it's been quite a few years since they changed that.
But it didn't matter. It didn't matter whether you won or lost, if you participated in the sport, whether it was baseball, football, band, whatever it was.
All sports.
It was all, it covered everything extracurricular. And what it did were, if you participated and met that criteria, you got that jacket. Like I said, the activity fund paid for it because they get, Columbus High, I know they did for football, baseball, and track.
I just asked a question, but we can go back to what you were discussing, baseball.
I'm gonna patiently wait to hear somebody phone. Whatever get with us, get with the AD, he get with the parents, the baseball coach. We just wait, but we appreciate what has happened at that baseball program the last year. So don't think we ain't grateful for that part. I just want everybody to know that.
So Dr. Ellis said that the athletic director will get with you to update you on this information, and he's going to work with him, with AD,
Yes, ma'am.
to make sure you get some information
Yes, ma'am, Dr.
as
Brown.
soon as possible.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
We appreciate all you do, Mr. Abrams.
so when do you expect from the school district, to hear something from the school district? You and the parent?
Your timeline.
My timeline. I'm a fat
Well-
person.
Well, let me ask Dr. Ellis. I mean, when you can get with the AD, whomever you need to get with?
I can
And
get with-
I think we owe that to them, some type of explanation or as to what the district can and cannot do.
Okay, I'll get with the AD tomorrow
Yes, sir.
and speak with him along with Mr. Chapman.
Yes.
Of course, we talked before.
Yes, sir.
On what, and if I run into a roadblock or something that I can't solve for you, then I may have to bring it back to the body of the board to
Yes,
make
sir.
a decision if it's beyond what I can do. And then we can
Perfect.
try to expedite that
Yeah.
because I understand the urgency.
Yeah, and perfect. And when you get with the athletic director, he get with me. Just want to make sure I get enough time to get all my parents together because I'm human. I may miss a question, but make sure everything get answered, everything get addressed, and we'll be good. We're ready to rock and roll. And I appreciate y'all
We
for giving us a
appreciate you.
platform.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chairman,
Go
I
ahead.
want to address something.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Rogers mentioned earlier, we couldn't do everything for baseball. I'm not concerned about just baseball, Ms. Rogers. I'm concerned about all extracurricular activities. I want to clarify that, whether it's extracurricular activities or whether it's academics. For football, if the board recall, when we went over and visited the athletic facilities, it was horrible, and it had been neglected. Regardless who neglected, it was neglected. I don't care if it was me, you, or anyone else kid that was had to play ball over there. It was horrible. Now, I don't know that you have opportunity to attend, but from the restrooms and the showers, it was mold. From the coach's office, the trainer rooms, the locker rooms, the team meeting rooms, even your crown molding had tape holding it up there. So why would our kids have to play or be under those conditions? Okay, so when you mentioned that there was more in baseball, I'm concerned about more in baseball. I'm concerned about all sports and academics also. And as far as from the softball facilities over there, the board visited. From the softball, the air conditioner system is not as good at the where the varsity baseball play as it is for the softball. Same thing as concession stand, the press box, the PA system. So I encourage you to go and attend and look at the facilities. It is a difference. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Any more? Item 6, Office of the Superintendent, Dr. Stanley Ellis, School Operations, Superintendent's Travel, Goal 1, Superintendent's Travel Report, Superintendent's Travel Review for information only. No, travel.
Okay, I did travel last month. I had the opportunity to attend the Mississippi Association of School Administrators meeting, where all the superintendents for the state got together. That was the first meeting that I had gone to. I didn't make it last year. It was a really good meeting. Of course, they always talk about funding, but the main thing that they were discussing is the impact of the school choice on public education, how that's going to impact our public schools and our funding. So we had an opportunity to sit with some legislatures to discuss some of those issues. The state superintendent is gonna have us back in a couple of weeks, the superintendent, so that we could really look at this to kind of make sure that the state is moving in the right direction. The other thing that I attended was on last week, I had an opportunity to go to Mississippi Valley State University. They had a team from Mississippi State and a couple more people there, and they did some training on AI. They had superintendents there, teachers, every walk of life in K-12 education. Was a good meeting. I've been using AI some, and it's a good tool if you learn how to use it. So I attended that. I also been down to Delta State as recent as a few days ago, and talked with some individuals that are working with us to get funding for our district in many different areas. I met with the grant writers, but I also met with the people that fund these grants as well. I realize that you get things by the relationships that you have, and so I'm going to forge all the relationships that I have to try to make sure that I get what's best for my students in the Columbus School District. Thank you.
Any questions? Any questions? Item B, Superintendent Recommendations. Number 1, consideration and/or discussion to approve fund transfer from District Maintenance Fund 1120 to the District Maintenance Staff Incentive Fund 1122, submitted by the Office of Business. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Shoemaker and a second by Ms. Young.
Had there been any changes in the amount?
What did you say, Holly?
And this coming out of reserve fund?
Any more questions? All in favor? moving to item 2.
So,
Go ahead.
before we move on, so
Yes,
what
sir.
are we gonna do in the future? Dr. Ellis, have you thought about this?
Yes, sir, I have thought about it. I had a meeting with somebody on my leadership team, 2 people this morning, and we were discussing it. And to be totally honest with you, I don't think we're going to be able to afford this in the future. With bringing Hunt back online, I just don't see us being able to afford something like this. I'm not saying we can't look at some things that we could probably do for our staff, but this is a heavy load, and I don't know if we will be able to sustain that.
The money was, used from the interest at Hunt when they paid us. And how, Ms. Rogers can explain that, but, we've chipped away at that over, this is the 4th year. And so there, based on what I looked at, there's, I don't know if, you did say, do you confirm Wednesday that it's gone? That's it, right?
It is, right now, we're just earning a little bit of interest on it, and the recommendation that I made did say that any interest we earn after this point, I'll reduce the transfer from the district.
Okay.
So that interest will still go towards the staff incentive, and it'll just be a reduction paying the district back for this transfer.
That's how the money was initially compiled. It wasn't used with district funds or federal funds or any, can't do that, but none of that kind of money. So it's based on what Ms. Rogers is saying, Dr. Ellis is saying, we wouldn't be able to do it.
That would be a policy change, correct?
Yeah, you would have to update the policy and, well, first
Right.
find a source and update the policy of
Yeah.
how you would pay it.
Yeah, the way the policy's written now, the way I understand, it expires at the end of this payment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You ready, Ms. Smith?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2, consideration and/or discussion to approve the CMSD 2023-2024 incentive payout submitted by the Office of Business. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second? I'll make the second. We have a motion by Ms. Young and a second by myself, Dr. Brown. Are there any questions? All in favor? Item 3, consideration and/or discussion to approve staff personnel items submitted by the Office of Human Resources. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Reverend Richardson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Item 7, Office of Business Management, CMSD Business Administrator, discussion of the following items. A, consideration to approve monthly financial report, policy DI. Number 1, fund balance report. Number 2, cash balance report. Number 3, budget status report. Number 4, monthly revenue budget report. Number 5, monthly expenditure budget report. Is there a motion
So
for
moved.
items 1 through 5?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Young and a second by Dr. Shoemake. Are there any questions? All in favor? Item 6, certification and summary of reconciled bank statements, policy DI. Is there a motion? I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion by myself, Dr. Brown, and a second by Ms. Young. Are there any questions? All in favor? Number 7, budget amendments. Is there a motion? I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion by myself, Dr. Brown, and a second by Reverend Richardson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Number 8, fixed asset disposals. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I'll make the second. We have a motion by Dr. Shoemaker and a second by myself, Dr. Brown. Are there any questions? All in favor? Number 9. Paid accounts, payable claims for board ratification. Is there a motion? He's next. It's next. It's on there? Mr. Smith,
Yeah,
you want to recuse?
it does.
So when I,
She said there's some Columbus Light and Water on the ratification on number A, so
A and B.
A and B. Okay. Okay. And the held accounts payable claims to the Columbus Light and Water Department. Do we have a motion for A and B? Okay.
Second.
Mr. Richardson, we have a motion by Mr. Richardson and a second by Ms. Young. Are there any questions? All,
I'm sorry.
look, we both
No
voted.
questions.
Don't feel bad. I did the same thing. Are there any questions? All in favor? Long night, Ms. Young. We're on number C, Mr. Smith. Regular accounts payable claims docket. Is there a motion? I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion by myself, Dr. Brown, and a second by Ms. Young. Are there any questions? All in favor? Number 10, consideration and/or discussion to approve fund transfer from District Maintenance Fund 1120 to District Maintenance Surplus Fund 1121, submitted by the Office of Business. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I'll make the second. We have a motion by Ms. Young and a second by myself, Dr. Brown.
yeah,
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, I forgot about that.
An amount. Ms. Holly.
So what you have in front of you is an amount from 1 million to 1.2 million. This is money that we received, at the end, well, really, I guess, at the end of September. It's for the indirect cost for ESSER, and I was able to reclass some expenditures for ESSER. As you can see on the docket that you guys just approved, it's almost $5 million. This is one of the reasons why we really have to watch our cash right now for us to get reimbursed, because we only have like a little over 7 million in our account right now, but the fund balance can still be moved over. And this is the only time we'll probably see an amount this large, and I want to take the opportunity to go ahead and put it in our surplus so we can use it for some of our athletic needs.
So we're moving 7 million.
This is actually, oh, no.
No. We got you.
Oh.
1.2.
Okay,
Yeah, I've got to choose
sorry.
between 1 million and 1.2 million.
1.2 million.
okay.
so why we decide to move it now?
Because we finally closed our year, and I needed to know how much of the fund balance we would need for our incentive payout. Because it could have been up to 1.5, but we needed that 290 for the incentive payout. So I didn't want to present it to you guys last month and then bring it back to you again, asking you to hold on, wait a minute, can we move some of it over here instead? I wanted to have both recommendations for the board tonight.
Okay.
So
For
the,
1 million or 1.2 million.
so the motion needs to include a number.
The
Okay.
number.
Do we have a motion for 1 million? Or 1.2 million?
What's the request?
One,
Amount.
1 million or 1.2? You have to decide.
Okay.
She's leaving it up to us.
Mhm.
Right.
Normally, I give you guys a range so you can tell me and I make a recommendation. But this is just a recommendation. It can be between 1
So I make a motion that we move 1.2 from district maintenance 1120 to the maintenance surplus fund.
We have a
What's your motion again, Ms. Young?
1.2.
Number 10.
Why, why you decide 1.2, Ms. Young? Just curious.
Well, we still have a lot of things on the rise, and that would allow us a little cushion to take care of things that are needed instead of,
I don't have no problem. I just asked the question.
yeah, I'm just thinking about, future costs of things that are unexpected. Like, we know we're going into Hunt, other things that may come up that, that building has a lot of needs. Of course, they're taking care of bringing it back up, but there are a lot of things to come with that. Yeah, she said, and we can use it for athletics as well. Athletics as well, yeah, that's a need as well.
These are, I wanted to use some of it for some of the things that we originally had in the bond issue, but we had to take out because we only had a certain amount of money.
Okay, okay. Right. We had a motion by Ms. Young to move 1.2 million from District Maintenance Fund 1120 to District Maintenance Surplus Fund 1121. Is there a second? Second. Mr. Richardson. Any more discussion? All in favor? Item B are FYI from the Chief Financial Officer's updates. Number 1 is the monthly ad valorem tax collection analysis report, policy DI. Number 2, CMSD fund balance trends. Number 3, bank cash balance yearly comparison. Number 4, student event activity report. Number 5, federal programs and IDEA monthly financial review. Are there any questions about those reports? Yes, ma'am. Dr. Schumate.
Just a quick question about the homeless ARP is still at 35%.
That's as of October 31st. They, I know that they made a really large request this month, so something had to come out of the stock. But that was also one of the ones that wasn't approved by the State Department until late last semester. And some of the things we wanted to do, we couldn't do until the beginning of this semester. So they still have until November 30th to make any expenditures and send those invoices in.
Yeah, I just see that 12/12/24 date coming up, so great, thanks. I mean, I love seeing all this red here, things closed out. Super work, thank you.
Any more questions? Okay. Item 8 is the consent agenda, policy BCBAO, consideration and/or discussion to approve agreements, contracts, memorandums of understanding, out-of-state travel.
Let me interrupt you a minute, Jim.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask a question while we're discussing the finances. As far as invoices and POs, Ms. Rogers, if you out, who approved POs or invoice or whatever the case may be? Either you or the superintendent or who?
Tenny Checkett, the business office supervisor. Our internal control steps is it goes to me and then it goes to Dr. Ellis. So when I'm out and I can't get to a computer, Ms. Checkett is the one who approves it and it goes to Dr. Ellis.
Okay, so at one time, I think you were out for like 2 or 3 weeks, and there was a couple of weeks, you was out a couple of weeks at one time, is that correct? So why was it an issue as far as invoices and being approved?
That wasn't an issue. I was actually coming in at night approving requisitions.
Okay. You move on.
Move on? Okay. Number A is a consideration and/or discussion to approve agreements, contracts, memorandums of understanding, out-of-state travel, field trips, and student transfers. We have items 1 through 14.
Dr. Brown, I'd like to make a motion that we take all of them, except I would like more information on number 5.
Number 5. Except 5. Okay.
Until we get more information.
So we'll do 1 through 4 and 6 through 14. Okay. Is there a motion for 1 through 4 and 6 through 14?
So move.
We have a motion by Mr. Smith. I'll make the second. Is there any questions about those? 1 through 4 and 6 through 14. With the motion from Mr. Smith and a second by me. Any more questions about that? All in favor? Okay. And number 5 is to remove the nut-free. The nurse is here? Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Ms. Harness, Ms. Harness, I think there's a question about the need for number 5 and why that request is being made.
Okay, did you have a specific question, or you just want an explanation?
Yes, ma'am. Being that peanuts, I think is one of the food allergens, like 90% of people are allergic to not 90% of people, but it's 90% of a food allergy is a peanut. So I want to be clear in what I'm saying. I'm just asking and moving away from that policy. If most food allergens, peanuts is one of them, then how will that impact our students?
So we actually have very few students who are allergic to nuts. It's a pretty small percentage. It's also not an airborne allergy. So the National Association of School Nurses have warned against being nut-free schools. Nut-free implies to parents that there are no nuts in our schools, and we cannot guarantee that. So what we've seen is that our parents are not sending our anaphylaxis action plans or our EpiPens to school with students because they're saying, oh, well, there's no nuts in these schools. There's no reason for us to send these. That's become a real big problem for us. Even though we are contacting these parents repeatedly, they are not sending those protections for their students. Obviously, if we see students with any kind of nut foods with them, we do confiscate those, but there's no way that we can guarantee that no student is bringing that in. And we know that they are. There's even been a few instances where some cafeterias have accidentally served nut products. So that recommendation from the National Association of School Nurses is to not have that designation because it is a huge liability for school districts. So they recommend instead that we are a nut-aware district, which says that the nurses are notifying the cafeteria and teachers of students with nut allergies. They still recommend that as a district we do not serve nut foods, but we cannot say that students are not going to bring nut foods here. So we let the teachers know, then the teachers can decide if they're a nut-free classroom, and then they would send home a letter to those parents if we had a severe nut allergy in that classroom and ask those teachers or ask those parents not to send nut products with their students to school so that they're not in that classroom. And that just kind of helps to cut down on that. In fact, like there's actually more severe allergies, like gluten is an airborne allergy. So there's a lot of people with gluten allergies. And we're not a gluten-free district. That would be really difficult. Fish and seafood is an airborne allergy. And while we don't serve those in our schools, we don't tell people they can't bring that in, to eat those things. So it's just kind of a protection to help us not be liable if a student brings in a Snickers bar and eats it and shares it. That's the one time I've given an EpiPen in school, is when a student brought a candy bar in and shared it with their friend who was allergic to nuts. That parent had the same attitude. Well, you're a nut-free district. I don't have to send an EpiPen. Luckily, we do have protections in place with our stock EpiPens, so I was able to give her that and call an ambulance and get her there. I'd actually called that parent 2 days before asking for them to send in her plan and an EpiPen. He said, she doesn't need that. I said, yes, sir, she does. And then we did that. So it's more of a liability issue for the district. And then again, we have lots of vegetarian. We have a fairly large vegetarian population in our district. They rely on nuts for their protein. Our diabetics rely very heavily on peanut butter crackers to get their blood sugar stabilized. So it's kind of like we're taking one health problem and saying this matters more than any other health problem when we do that.
Dr. Brown, may I?
Yes, sir.
I've always been concerned about how do you enforce the no nut policy, and I think it's actually advisable to, because if you have a no nut policy, and something happens, you're expected, you have a no nut policy, why are these nuts here? So if you remove that requirement, it does put some of the onus on the parents themselves to teach your child not to eat Snickers bars or whatever, and it actually lessens the liability for the district purposes.
And we have a policy, so we would have to update that policy. Right, you're right, but I'm saying we have to make sure.
And I'm honestly not sure if there's an actual policy that says that, or if it's just that our schools are.
I think we do have a
It
policy,
is
yes.
a policy.
Okay, right.
Okay. Any more questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So the consent agenda, item 5, remove nut-free designation submitted by the Office of Assistant Superintendent of Operations. Is there a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Mr. Richardson. All in favor? Thank you. Moving to item B, dates to remember, policy BCBD, academics, November 18th and 19th, the MSBA Fall Conference at Flowood for the board. Item B, November 21st, the progress reports. Item November 25 to 29 is Thanksgiving break. Athletics as an attachment for your review. Number 3, board meetings, December 4th, 2024 is the Board of Trustees review meeting at Columbus High School at 11:30. December 9th, 2024 is the Board of Trustees regular meeting at Brandon Central Services Center at 5:00 p.m. Moving to item 9, closed determination for executive session, policy BCBK. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Audience, you, all in favor? Audience, you are dismissed, and I'll be out shortly to inform you of our discussion. I'll be right back.
I mean, from what you said, that's a slap in the face. To me, when you said that we spend money, we can't spend all the money on baseball, I'm concerned about, well, that's what you said?
I said, let's wait to spend that until next semester, because we've got to get finished with ESSER projects.
That's not what you said over there.
I said, we have to watch how much we're spending on baseball to ensure softball.
It's my interpretation, you said that we can't just spend money on baseball.
That is not what I said.
Well, that's what I heard.
I'm sorry.
But I want you to know that I'm concerned about more than just baseball. I'm concerned about all sports and academics too. Okay.
Don't be mad at me.
I said what I had to say.
I know.
I mean, I can go on what you said over there, okay? But it's more just baseball in this district. They shouldn't be neglected, just like the other sports shouldn't be neglected. We, we found money, spent money.
Okay. You ready? Okay. Thank you, audience. The board approved to uphold the superintendent in 3 student matters. We approved regular meeting executive session minutes for October 14th, and we also voted on a superintendent's incentive pay. Moving to item 12, adjourn. We have a motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Ms. Young. All in favor? Thank you. Have a good night.
Don't forget,